Howdy, you beautiful Bayou Bandits. This is going to be 50 miscellaneous beginner tips and Hunt Showdown 1896. If you guys like this type of content, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, as it truly helps me in my content creation journey, as well as catching me live over on Twitch at NOAURA TV, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. EST. We're trying to bake in the weekends as well, so keep an eye for that schedule. If you want to go above and beyond and support me on Patreon, give it an eye and check it out. I appreciate everyone. Thank you guys for all the support, and let's get into the video. You can tell if a hunter has gotten a clue before. When it's not hollowed out and it looks just like this, that means that nobody has got the clue yet. Once I grab it, it's going to hollow out. That means that somebody has already taken this clue, meaning that somebody might not be that far from us. The next tip is the fact that the map grays out and narrows down your search for the boss the exact same way if you're working on the same boss. So I spawned at Stillwater, and before I got the clue, Catfish, Reynard, and Daryl were all in the search for the #1 boss. But once I got the clue, it went down to these 5 compounds. The same is true for the people that went to Scupper and got their first clue. They're also going to see the same exact gray out. The next tip is going to be the fact that all boss tokens in this game are now worth the exact same amount. It doesn't matter if one boss is smaller than the other. With the search area of the compounds, it's all the same. But sometimes small bounty, the one that only has a couple compounds in it, might be the way to go, just because it's a lot quicker to narrow down the search, and it pays the exact same as the bounty that has a lot more compounds in it. So if you're close to the bounty that only has a couple compounds in it, go for that one, as it's going to pay the exact same. The next tip is a map awareness tip for you to look out for. So let's say I heard shots at Catfish when I spawned here, and I went and got the clue, and it narrowed down to this exact search for this boss. I can probably predict, since they grabbed their first clue and that was in this boss search as well for the first boss, I could probably predict that they are going to be moving north to get their second clue, meaning that I can probably predict that somebody is going to be coming from Catfish to grab this exact clue. And that also means that it could be an easy ambush for me to just set up and wait for them to come walking right in front of me. That you can actually shoot open barred doors. So a good rule of thumb is to ping the door, go to the side or wherever you can get a line on the door. This isn't the best example, but if I came over here and shot through to that ping, it would open the door just like that. You can slowly and more quietly open and shut doors when you are crouched, versus this is definitely recommended to stealthily move around a compound or come outside of a building. And then as well, another tip is the fact that you can decide what way the door swings in or out. If you're moving backwards while opening the door, it will come towards you. If you shut it, of course, it'll go to the middle. And then if you're moving forward, it'll go away from you, which isn't a super big deal, but sometimes depending on your line of sight, it would be best for you to pull it to you or away from you. See, like right there, I can see a lot more versus it being how I just showed you. So sometimes pull it in towards you versus putting it out, and then vice versa. Fusees, which come in a pack of 5 and only cost 10 and is a tool slot, can deal with hives, armoreds, zombies. They can also take care of hellhounds as well if you can throw it at them correctly. Since they're a little more jittery, it's kind of hard to do that sometimes, and can blow up both yellow or red barrels. That all sniper towers have something in them. These types of sniper towers can sometimes have cash registers right there on the backside under the table. When coming in here, there is 2 weapon spawns right here that can also have a special ammo spawn like Dum Dum or something like that. And then going over here is always going to be a consumable spawn. I think sometimes it might also have a special ammo box spawn like a poison ammo Dum Dum, like I was just explaining, but it's only those 2, and I might be wrong. It might just be consumables. I don't remember correctly, but there's always something in this specific spot that's worth looking at. And then we have another weapon spawn with a ammo box and a special ammo box spawn right here. And then of course we have a cash register spawn as well. During events and stuff, these sniper towers also can have 4-shot boons, XP boons, and things like that to buy your pledge marks, as well as a cash register right here that you can purchase with pledge marks. So overall, these sniper towers are very worth checking. The sniper tower like that usually has one thing at the top. I will go show you that very quickly. So we're in the other sniper tower I was just looking at, which was across from that one. And this, like I said, has something that spawns here every game. It can spawn a weapon, like a Springfield Marksman, something like that. It can spawn the ammo box that I'm talking about. It can spawn the regular ammo box, the special ammo box. All of the ammo boxes can spawn here. Weapons can spawn here, as well as consumables. Another very solid tip for these specific sniper towers when you are in here, if you want to see what is up there, stand right here and look up. And if you see that, of course, you can tell that it is just a random special ammo box that you can potentially use. You can see if it's a regular ammo box because it's big and bulky. I forgot to say that there is a med kit spawn in here as well. And you can see pretty much most of the stuff, unless it's a small grenade or something that you're not going to be able to see, but you can usually tell that it's going to be one of those by the fact that you're not seeing it from this angle. But step down here and look over, and you should be able to see what is up there if you need it, versus climbing the ladder and then turning around to find out, oh, it's just an ammo box. Oh, it's just a med kit. Another very important tip when it comes to ducks and or crows, the direction you are moving when you set them off is the direction they usually fly. So that means if I walk into these ducks and they start flying northwest 330, if somebody was coming from that direction, seeing the ducks come directly at them, they would be knowing that I am probably moving towards them. And that's a good indicator for where enemy traffic is coming. So like I said, walk into them this direction and they fly exactly that direction, telling everyone which direction I'm moving in that specific moment when I set those off. Another tip is that if you are in water, you cannot burn. As you see, I just threw a liquid firebomb into the water. It is burning, but I am not on fire. So that means that if theoretically you are around some water and a whole team is pushing you and you think you have no chance to survive, I don't usually recommend it, but I guess it is better if you die in water because the best they can do is trap you. Now, if they have bear traps or something like that, you're gonna be dead anyways, but if they don't trap you, you can kind of wait them out because they can't burn you out. And then once you're ready, you're just gonna pop right back up. And you will get the char effect if you are in deep water and in the fire at the same time. But yeah, that's the next tip, that you won't actually catch on fire if you're in water. All melee attachments on guns that allow them only cost 10 more hunt dollars than the original version. And all of them act as an equivalent to a in-world melee spawn that you can find. A Talon version on a weapon acts the same as a regular axe that you could find in the game. Something that is called a trauma acts as a hammer that you can find in the game. A bayonet acts as a pitchfork, and the riposte is like a pitchfork as well, as it does piercing damage, but it also has a light attack that essentially works the same as a heavy knife. But all in all, if you're gonna take the regular version of a gun, you might as well add the melee variant onto it for an extra 10 hunt dollars. It's kind of crazy not to, especially the fact that if you're fighting a boss, you do not need to go look for or hold a hammer, axe, or pitchfork or something like that. You just have it on your gun. And as well, especially for the Romero and the shotguns that don't have as many shots, if I miss my shot, it might be a good alternative for me to just follow up with a melee. So definitely put the melees on your gun. When hunters die, they usually point in the direction of their killer. So that means if I am this person's teammate hiding in this bush over here or something like that, and I'm like, yo, where did the person shoot you from? I don't really have to ask too many questions. I can already tell that they died, or the person that killed them was around this or in that general direction. So when I come back over here, it's not a question of, oh, was he on the right side of the road or the left? I already know by looking at the direction his feet are pointing that it was in this direction north from the body. However, there are, depending on if you're on top of something and you fall off or something like that, there are some exceptions where the feet do not point at all in the right direction, and they completely lie and it's a different direction. But I think it's all on if you're falling off of something or if you die on like a surface that isn't flat, something like that. But most of the time, almost 99% of the time, the feet will point in the right direction of the killer. This one is a jump spot, or exposing a jump spot. So essentially you're gonna be in Port Rica on Stillwater Bayou, right over here between all these huts and stuff coming into the compound. And you're gonna wanna jump or run and jump onto this, then jump up onto this, turn around again, run and jump, and you can get up, it would let me, onto this roof right here. This roof gives you access to all three of these roofs. Allows you to potentially get an easier shot over there, maybe a line drive up there for a quick pop shot, and then yeah, that's pretty much what this one does. I've seen a lot of people like freaking out that I'm on this roof and they didn't know you could get on this roof, but that's that tip, you can get on that roof. Another jump spot in the same compound, if you climb up this ladder on the more north side, get onto this roof, you can actually run and jump onto this, vault over that, and get on this roof. Once you are on this roof, it will give you an option to run up here and jump on that. You get up here, if I could do it, you jump on this, line it up, and get ready to run and jump. Just like that, you can get up into this room. Workbenches around the map have the chance to spawn weapons and gun oil or blueprints. The blueprints give you 3 random unlocks, and the gun oil gives you 1 unlock for the gun that you are holding in your hands. You actually don't have to have exactly 30 seconds to be able to use an extraction point. As you can see, I'm at extract right here, and I'm going to get in the extract with only 17 seconds left. The timer says 30 seconds, but I am completely okay. I will be able to survive and keep my hunter. So don't worry about the timer. As long as you have at least 1 second when you hit extract, you will be good. You live to die another day, exactly what I was explaining. Torch grunts can actually kill you. And by that, if I was to melee this torch grunt when he ran up to me like that, I would drop the torch out of his hand because I killed him. And same with this red barrel right here. If I was to stand next to this red barrel and kill this torch grunt, well, then it would blow me up, and yeah, it wouldn't be good. So this tip is essentially telling you and teaching you not to kill torch grunts when you're standing next to these types of barrels. Make sure you drag them away or kill them outside of the range from those barrels. You can use these lanterns to throw on a murder of crows or fire bombs or anything like that, and it will completely take care of them a little more silently. If you really didn't want to worry about them, just burn them like that. Another tip is that you can find these little pouches that contain hunt dollars. You can find cash registers, both being silver and gold. The silver ones can give you from 50 to 1,000 hunt dollars, and it is completely random. The gold ones, there can be the potential that one spawns per map. If you find the gold one, it gives you 50 blood bonds, but all of these are accumulated at the top right over here. As you can see, that one little pouch gave me 8 hunt dollars, but my total hunt dollars that I've found in the game, not that I'm going to be paid for playing this match, but the total that I have found in this game is 8. And I haven't found any blood bonds, but there are also small blood bond pouches that can give you from 2 to 5 blood bonds per loot. This number also comes from the amount that I am looting off of hunters. But like it says right here, you have to extract to keep all of these. So if you find a gold cash register and you want those free 50 blood bonds, make sure to go to extract. Or if you find 1,000 hunt dollars, and you're very low, don't feel bad for going to extract early. If you find red ones, that means that they are burn traits. So that means you can pick them up and use them, and then they will go away. So in this particular example, this one is Necromancer. Let's say I already fought a team over here. I used my Necromancer, which allows me to get a health restoration upon reviving. Let's say they allowed me to revive and I got up and I'm back in the game. I'm full HP. And then I end up killing them, and then I'm walking through the map and I find this trait. I can come over here, pick it up, and get it back. But essentially, red means that it is a burn trait and it will be gone upon use. There's a bunch of these death cheat, which allows you to actually die with your hunter and not lose your hunter, but lose your gear. That is one of the best ones in the game. But you also have Relentless, which allows you to not lose a health bar when you get down. So if you're playing in a team, that is very good. If you die, you won't actually have lost a health bar. So when you revive, you will have all your health bars and won't take the penalty from when you normally die. Then you have Rampage, which allows you to get a whole health restoration if you are below 125 HP and get a kill. So let's say somebody shoots you with the sparks and you are at 1 HP, but you have Rampage, which is a burn trait and is going to go away when you use it. If I kill that person being below and after they hit me with the sparks, if I'm below 125 HP, I will get a full health restoration no matter what. And then if you see these in black and blue, that means it could be Shadow or Shadow Leap. Shadow Leap allows you to actually go into Dark Sight and leap to specific mobs. You can see there's a hive over that rock right there. I could go into Dark Sight and actually leap into that mob, but I would take incoming damage, but I could teleport essentially. And then Shadow is a solid one that allows you to not be detected by any AI. So you can walk around AI and they won't even look at you. These decoy fuses actually get rid of concertina as well. So if your teammate dies on a concertina or something like that, it's just a regular tripwire. Just throw one of these on him if you want to get rid of it. It'll take care of that whole bunch. The next one is going to be that a poison cloud can get completely taken care of if you throw a choke by it. Just like that, you wouldn't be getting poisoned because it went away. The choke bombs also have a larger explosion or detonation range than the cloud that they leave behind. So if you wanted to, let's say that your teammate was dead on this poison cloud right here, but you didn't want him to get rezzed on the poison, you could throw the choke a little bit to the right and the cloud will reach out far enough to get rid of the poison, but it won't be far enough for him to stand up and start choking, if that makes any sense. It's kind of a little bit confusing, and I could have threw it a little bit further to the side and it still would have got him. But long story short, it's a good way for your teammate to not have to get up and start choking immediately. You can prime the throwables to detonate where you want them to. That little diamond right there is where it is going to hit. If I was to just throw it right now, it would hit that spot on the wall, drop down, and then explode. Or I primed it long enough for that diamond to start coming closer to me. I can let it go in the air and perfectly place where the explosion is. And then another tip is the fact that if it's red, that means you will take damage from it. Doesn't mean you will die, but you will take damage from it. So if I do it like this, just hold this until the diamond starts coming closer to me. Boom, that's 2 kills instantly at the head. The penny shot derringer is actually very solid and it can be used to blow off doors. So even if it's a barred door, with 1 shot from the penny shot derringer, it will be able to get rid of it. It can also be a great close range option if somebody's pushing you very, very closely. It seems as if its consistent 1-tap range is about 4 meters. So pop it out and surprise somebody who thinks that you might be out of ammo or you missed both your shots in your shotgun and you got this to come right back at them. 1 singular alert trip mine will be able to completely take one of your 25 chunks if that's what you are running at the end of your health bars. And if you have the trait salve skin, it will not take a 25 chunk, but it will be very close and mean that you need to extinguish it very quickly, otherwise you will lose it. But that trait salve skin in particular saves you from losing a 25 chunk from these alert tripwires. That some lanterns have the capability of being hit and then blowing up a nearby barrel if it's close enough. So don't be afraid to shoot at some lanterns that are close to barrels. I know I've got this particular lantern to give me a couple kills with this specific barrel while fighting friends in this shooting range. It's been actually kind of funny, but sometimes, like I said, the lanterns are in the perfect spot in coordination with the barrel that you just shoot it and it blows up the barrel. Just like that. You don't even need to shoot the barrel. I would have had to have shot the barrel twice in that scenario, since I don't have anything flammable in my guns. I usually like to turn off lanterns that I'm inside the buildings of, and somebody in my chat asked me why I do this so much. The reason mainly is because I don't want this to become a distraction. If somebody were to throw a dynamite in here or a grenade and it was to blow this up, then I would have to also run around and deal with being potentially on fire, and it can just be a very obnoxious thing. So I usually just like to turn off the lanterns, but it can also be a bad thing because these lanterns can be used to shut off specific choke points or areas of a building. A good example of when you might want to have a lantern on so you can shoot it is like this right here, because if I shoot this lantern, it's going to make a hard exit for somebody that might already be in there. Now, like I showed you earlier, you could just shut the door by shooting the lever, but at least if they really want to come through, they're going to be on fire, and that's going to add pressure to them and make them have to think a lot faster. So the first one in this segment is going to be the fact that all you have to do is press R to deselect something and get rid of it when selecting and creating your loadout. Just hold R and it will make that slot open once again. The next one is going to be the preset loadouts. If you go up here to the top and click on it, there are multiple loadout slots for you to save. This is going to be very helpful for if you use a consistent loadout. Go to one of these slots, rename it, and save it by holding F down, and then it will ask you if you want to paste what loadout you currently have on your hunter to this slot, and then bada bing, bada boom, that will show up right there. One of the last hunt updates added this check mark right here to apply the health chunk setup to every hunter, so you can essentially decide what you want your health chunk setup to be for every hunter, and as long as you have this check marked, you will get that new hunter with that exact health bar setup. So I usually like to have 3 big bars, make sure it's checked, and then when I come over here and recruit a new hunter, I don't have to worry about his health bars being whack or random, which is very solid. So make sure you have your health bar set up how you like and have that checked. The next one is going to be the fact that you can get free hunters to give free gear. Let's say you just wanted a free med kit and melee to go with your gun that you're buying or whatever. You're just going to come to the free hunter section, click on the hunter and recruit him, and then you're going to go over, press R like we talked about earlier, which gets rid of things, and then come back over to the hunter that you want to put the gear on. And just like that, you got a free gun, primary and secondary, and then you can even put on the melee and the med kit, all that for free. You didn't have to buy anything. You can do that every single round. The next tip is going to be along the same lines as the last one, where if you are completely broke, it might not be a bad idea for you to run a few games of Soul Survivor. It's essentially like the main mode, but it's all solos, and it's not and not everybody's fighting for a boss token. Instead, the first person to get 4 clues activates the wellspring, and the last person with the wellspring is the only survivor. They get to keep anything they've found and the hunter, and then to take into bounty and have a completely free loadout. And you can honestly find some really good stuff in Soul Survivor and get out with some good loot. However, this is not a Soul Survivor guide, and I do have a Soul Survivor guide that I will link all the way at the top right of your screen right now. So watch that after this if you want to see the ultimate Soul Survivor guide if you don't know about Soul Survivor, because a lot of people don't play it, but it's actually a good way to get free gear and to move into the regular mode. So yeah, watch that after this. Another tip is that if you are going through a prestige and you want to know how much more XP you need to get to unlock the next variant of a specific weapon, let's say you're on the Springfield and you wanted the Springfield bayonet, you would press shift on this to bring up this side menu and then go to progression right here. It'll show you all of the variants available through this tree, and it'll tell you at what stage how much XP and what you need to get. Essentially, this is that screen. It's pretty solid, and yeah, give it a go if you're interested in how much XP you need to get to your next variant. You can test the sounds of different guns at different distances by going and hovering over it, clicking it, press shift, come down here to show 3D item, and on the right side it shows you that you can go up to 1,000 meters, which is essentially across the entire map. One of the maps is 1,000 meters. So you're going to scroll and it's going to tell you that you're at 200 meters. And then when you press F and shoot, that is how a carabiner sounds at 200 meters versus going all the way to 1,000 meters. You can barely hear it. Keep in mind, you can hear almost every gun across the map. And of course, at 1,000 meters, it's going to be very difficult to tell what weapon, but 300 meters, you can learn the distances and the sounds for each distance for a specific gun. The next tip is that you can actually type in a specific trait if you want to know if it works with your gun that you're going to use for your loadout. So if we wanted to see, hey, does the levering trait work with the gun I want to use? Just type in levering at the spyglass at the top when you're looking for your weapons, and then it will show you literally every variant in the game that allows levering on it. So you don't have to wonder, hey, is this trait going to work with my gun? The second one is going to be the fact that you can use this spyglass to search for things and just type it in. As you can see, doctor, and it comes right up with it, just like that. Very simple and self-explanatory. The next one is going to be as well a good one to search with. Down here at the bottom left, you can see you can press N or click on it to bring up the sort and filters. And you have the name, the price, the rank, and the recently added. Don't worry about recently added. There's not too many newly added traits. So I usually like to have it on price so I can simply see that all the low cost traits are at the top and the high costs are at the bottom. Makes it super easy to navigate, and I know where in this screen I need to look for that specific trait that I want to equip. The next one is going to be the fact that you do not have to use the 3 random traits that come with your hunter. You can actually get rid of these at the cost of losing 1 upgrade point than the trait originally cost. So for levering, it's a 4 upgrade trait. I can get rid of it for 3 upgrades in return and then spend it how I see fit. Definitely make sure that you are getting rid of the traits on your new hunters that you are not going to use. Do not go into the game with a random trait that is worthless to your build. Another tip, some people asked me and they didn't understand that you don't actually need resilience if you're a solo. If you have Necromancer, it gives you a boss banish when you revive, so resilience is rendered useless essentially, and resilience allows your hunter to be revived with full HP, but a boss banish from Necro when you revive is going to do the exact same thing, because a restoration in this game gives you a complete full health restoration with all your health chunks, and you don't have to use any med kits or anything like that. Unless the scenario where you might be downed and your teammate hits a banish, it's going to give you all your health bars back. But unless you have resilience in that scenario, but that's only still between teams, you wouldn't get up with full health. You'd still have to use a med kit. But in this particular scenario and tip, I'm telling you as a solo to never take resilience. But just one more time, if you're a solo, don't use resilience. It's actually worthless. But pick it up if you find it in game, so then you can therefore get rid of it and get the extra 2 upgrade points back. The most underrated trait for 1 point, in my opinion, that is Vigilant, which allows you to go into dark sight and see traps on the ground within 25 meters. Those are all not traps, those are all dummies since I'm in the shooting range, but this is very good to go up to a window, and instead of having to vault through it and find out later, you can scan really quickly. Make sure you're telling yourself if you don't have it, hey, I ain't got Vigilant. I got to make sure that I'm checking and seeing if there are traps through doors and stuff like that. So always going up to the windows and checking with Vigilant. That is that tip. That Vigilant actually shows you the difference in the traps. As you can see, that's a bear trap, and it has an animation on the right side of it to show you that this is an alert tripwire, that is a concertina tripwire, and that is a poison tripwire. Definitely take Vigilant. It's a very solid trait for 1 point, especially if you like pushing in the boss layers a lot. I know I do. It's one of my favorite traits for 1 point. This actually works in the beetle view. So if you're using a beetle to go through a boss layer or something like that, you can tell if they have traps on the ground if you have Vigilant equipped on your hunter. So that's pretty cool. When you are completely maxed out on your level and your specific prestige, you will be able to consistently get 25,000 XP, and then it will pay you 1,000 hunt dollars. So just keep in mind that the more XP you get when you are level 100 and maxed out, you can keep getting 1,000 hunt dollars for every 25,000 XP. When you are done with each specific game, you can come over here to summary details and go to accolade cards, and it will show you how much XP you are getting, how much event points you are getting, how much total bounty you are getting, and essentially what is paying you out. Each clue gives you 50 hunt dollars, no matter what, if you survive or die. So it might be worth you grabbing the clue versus just running into the boss lair and banishing the boss. If you spawn on the boss lair and have no clues, if you go and grab the first clue at that boss lair before you go into the boss lair, you will be granted all 3 clues and paid for 150 even if you die. So it is definitely worth it if you spawn on the boss to make sure you get the clue before you go and kill it. And another tip, if you are in the team details and would like to see a better example of all of the icons, you can hold L to view the icon legend and it will show you everything that you are looking at. And then while we're on this same screen, if you want to find out if the team was an invite or if they were playing with randoms, then you can hover over the match MMR, and at the bottom where it says active modifier, it'll say if it is an invite or not. So when I hover over here, it says duos invite. That means that they invited each other. So these two actually know each other. Another tip, if you would like to see you or your teammates' stats, you're going to want to go over here to progression, and then come all the way to the right and hit statistics. This will show you all of your stats in the game for the regular mode and Soul Survivor. And then if you want to see your teammates' stats, go over to play, hit the main icon for bounty. Then you're going to press shift to bring up this on the right, inspect equipment, and then at the bottom right here, it is going to start you with this, but then you're going to hit E twice to go to the right, and it will show everybody's KD on your team and all of the stats, and then on the right your other teammate, and the left your other teammate. The next batch is going to be settings. We are going to talk about the additional hint banners down here. If you're tired of seeing it remind you to do simple things in the game, don't forget to turn this off, as well as highlight interactable objects right here. If you're tired of seeing the pulsating white glow around doors, window shutters, and all of the interactable objects in the game and around the maps, then turn this down from either, turn this off from all to exclude windows and doors, so you don't have it around, of course, windows and doors. Or you can change it to none if you play solo. If you do play in a team and you have this on none, then not even your teammates will have a blue outline around them. I personally prefer that, but I also don't play with teammates that often. The next one we're going to talk about is auto interact. With having this on, that means all you have to do is press down your interact button. Mine is F. So if I wanted to go get all of my arrows that I shot from a crossbow in a specific area, I just go running past it, holding down my interact. I don't have to tap it each time to grab each individual arrow. This also works great if you're using Dauntless, which allows you to extinguish throwables that are thrown at you, so you don't have to time it perfectly when it allows you to interact with it. You can just hold down F, and the moment it comes close to you, it will stop and extinguish it, which can save your life. Then the same thing, controls go to mouse and keyboard keybinds. You need to be separating your jump and vault. Normally it's set default to spacebar, which does both. So that means if you're next to something, it will vault over, or jump when you're not next to something to vault. You do not want this because it can put you in a bad scenario, potentially kill you, or damage you very badly by throwing you off the side of a building for no reason. So make sure you change this. I personally like to have my jump at space and my vault at V. Most people that have a lot of hours usually do this and all say that it's a great change for them.